Hi, I'm State Representative Doyle Heffley, and welcome to this edition of Legislative Report. Today we're here in downtown Lehighton with Jerry McElward, the president of Lehighton Outdoor Center, the Jim Thorpe River Adventures, and also the Northeast Pennsylvania Kayak School. And also joining us is Alice Wanamaker, the Assistant Vice President of the Carbon County Economic Development Corporation and part of the Lehigh Valley Chamber. Welcome to the program, and welcome to Lehighton. I know you've been very instrumental in whitewater rafting, biking, and everything else that's all outdoor sports oriented in Carbon County for quite some time. And actually, just as a little sidebar for our viewers, I first met Jerry, it was back in about 1986 maybe. I worked for Pocono Whitewater, another rafting company, on the road crew, and Jerry, you were a guide at that point. I believe you were living in New York at that time?
I was.
And you loved the river, you loved the outdoors, and you moved here to Carbon County, and now a few years later, you are opening up this shop here. Tell us a little bit about your story, your journey, and what brought you to Carbon County.
Well, I came rafting in 1979.
Okay.
And I immediately thought it was one of the coolest things ever. And so I became a guide a few years later, and then I would drive up from New York on weekends. And then in 1987, they offered me a job to run the guide show, which is when I met you. Mm-hmm. And then I worked at my craft and learning how people. So I moved here in '87 for good because of the river and because of all these things that Carbon County offers recreationally, outdoor particularly.
And it's fascinating. I know online you have several videos. You wear a GoPro camera, I believe waterproof, and you're going down the river in a kayak, and you have such a passion and a love. And now you're going to be able to share that, not just with the kayaking, but the DNL, the Delaware Lehigh corridor, the trails, the rails to trails, and the biking that goes on here. So now we're in your brand new building. Now this show is going to air. It's still a little cool outside right now, but this is going to air later on this spring, and the viewers will have the opportunity to stop in here. But you can see you're setting up the display racks ready. So what would somebody that's coming to the Lehighton Outdoor Center and they want to find out what's going on, what all are you going to offer, and how are you going to have it set up?
Well, the first line here is always our people, and then we've trained everybody for years, and we're going to train them even more on being somewhat of an information center and a travel agent sort of. What are you doing? Hi, what are you doing here? Where are you staying? What do you want to do? So we'll have the sort of a broad menu of human-powered activities that people can do. Obviously, the rafting business we've done, and inflatable kayaking, we've done that for years. The kayak school is obviously an instructional experience that way. And then the biking is going to be very large for us, I think, because we're literally, the front door is 75 feet from the new DNL National Heritage Corridor spur here. So we're very excited to be a full-service bike shop. We'll have a cafe open to the public, and everything that goes along with that. We're gonna have free clinics, fixing your bicycle on the trail, fixing a tire. So we're gonna really work hard at becoming a place that people like to come to visit. Not just they have to, but they really look forward to an experience here, starting with our people.
Now, Alice, as representative from the Carbon County Chamber, you're looking at the different opportunities that we have for tourism promotion, and you see this type of investment coming into the community. A few years ago, this trailhead had gone in and it created an opportunity like this, and now the DNL is one of the longest continual trails, and now we're going to have the new pedestrian bridge in downtown Jim Thorpe, and we're going to get some shots of that a little bit later. But what does this bring economic development? Tourism is the #1 industry in Carbon County. What does this bring to the Lehighton area and the development?
Yeah, it's exciting. 165 miles, and Jerry's positioned himself strategically in the middle of it. Here in Lehighton, we're excited for that. And, for Lehighton and the county itself, we've already seen an influx of people, questioning what kind of business should I open, where should I be opening it. So economically, we are excited for people to gravitate towards Lehighton, gravitate towards Carbon County, and all the fun and exciting outdoor things that will be happening, this year as well as into the future.
Well, one of the things we have here in Carbon County is we have 3 great ski resorts. We have the second most rafted river with the whitewater rafting, and now with the biking. on the weekend, you can't go anywhere without seeing a vehicle driving down the road with two bikes on the top, and if the bikes aren't on the vehicle, the rack's there and the bikes and somebody's going down the trail. But it's just a tremendous opportunity. Right now, people with the outdoor activities, we're an hour and a half from Philadelphia, an hour and a half from New York City. So if you want to get away, you want to find something to do, this is the place. And right here, this is centrally located. And it's not about competing, but it's about building upon everything that we have, and all boats rise as the water rises. So I think this is going to be a great opportunity. Now, Jerry, tell me a little bit about your journey. Where did you get the vision to build this type of facility? It's a very large facility. How did you create all this, and what was going through your mind when you came up with everything?
Well, one thing we tried to do is we ran a pretty tight ship business-wise that enabled the bank to trust me with the sort of financing that we had to get this. We have a lot of time looking into this piece of land. I put money down on this land in September 2013, so that's how long, and here we are in 2018. Yeah. So, but every time I looked at where I wanted to be in Carbon County, I wanted to be on a major thoroughfare, and I have found a welcome partner in the Borough of Lehighton who welcomed us with open arms. We had to jump through every hoop there was, but I had guides at local government every step of the way to help me navigate in the areas that I was unfamiliar with, zoning and things like that. So I had so much help, and we really are looking forward to attracting the people that seek these trails nationwide. There's these path riders, or sometimes they're called gravel riders, are these people that ride these trails, and they go everywhere, and they spend a significant amount of money per person on their travels when they come in and out of this. So we're really happy to be that kind of leader in this area, and to bring that.
I think one of the dynamics that what makes it so awesome is you can get on the trail. Pretty much, you can get on an Easton and ride your bike all the way up here without getting off the trail. You can stop and grab a bite to eat along the way. There's local bed and breakfast, local lodging, local hotels right in the area, and maybe you park your bike for the day and hop on a kayak and go kayaking, or go rafting, or just take the day to ride up to pedal up to Jim Thorpe and walk around all the shops, or enjoy any of the restaurants, or you got theater, you got concerts, you have outdoor venues. There's a lot of opportunities in this area, and I see that as we build upon that, spilling over into outside of downtown Jim Thorpe and into the Lehighton area for this type of maybe people want to have a day trip, but now with the connections in the trail and all that you can do, you never have to get in your car. You could be green all the way, ride your bike, right, and stay here and do just a boatload of outdoor activities.
And there are trails that lead to a nice little place like a park or a meadow. And then there are trails that lead to a vibrant community and people love when they coming here, when they're driving 4 hours to 5 hours, that are spending a weekend here, they look for things to do, and unique things that make us all travel somewhere. So I think the area is already there in many places. In Lehighton, it wasn't quite there yet. It will be. I think there's a nice, bright future here. But the Carbon County areas hold so many possibilities for that crowd. And for the local people, the citizens of your district, there are more trails in this district, more access to trails than almost anywhere in the state. So the trail world is going to really find this place to be extremely welcoming as a trail-friendly town and county and district.
And not only that, if you want to go fly fishing, the Lehigh River Stockade Association has done a lot of work. There's so many, you could go kayaking today, fishing tomorrow, or maybe combine them. But there's just a lot of opportunities, and it's all right off this D&L trail. You look at the coal region, the Lehigh Canal, the heritage that's there, and the coal history in this area. But before that, it goes back to the Revolutionary War. There's a well about a mile from here that Ben Franklin helped to dig in Weisport. There's a great little ice cream shop, Chantilly's in Weisport. So there's a lot of opportunities and things to build upon. So I commend you for making this investment in the community. And the community, between the chamber, the borough, and everybody that partnered to have a vision to say, we're going to make it happen. So oftentimes you see things where people don't want this in their backyard, but to really have that vision, and I think it's going to pay off. Now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about something you were telling me about earlier, bicycles. As somebody, I do have a mountain bike. I don't get to ride as much as I like, but I do love to ride the trail. And the thing that's great about the DNL Trail is it's relatively flat. And there's not too many places where you can ride a bike in the state of Pennsylvania that you're not either going up or down. But that's what's great about our area. But the trail really provides that. So whether you want to be adventurous and because there are some spurs off the trail, get a little adventurous, or just take a nice, smooth, pretty much a level ride. So talk to us a little bit about, you're going to be selling bikes here, you're going to be working on bikes here, servicing bikes here, but also giving people that come in just some information about biking.
We have in this county, in this particular this area, there's so much terrain difference. So you could be a couple, arrive here, and if you wanted to ride separately, one spouse could ride aggressive hills and others could ride the trail. So it really is it's a definition of a something for everyone area. And the idea of the river and railways that went along the river provided these defunct railways that have now been rehabilitated. They give this great opportunity for trail riding through scenery that you wouldn't normally have enough money or energy to put a trail through. So this reconstituting these railway trails is just huge here, and there's so many railways in and out of here so that's a huge part. So we're going to cater to the road. There's a small contingent of road riders, so we'll have road bikes here for them. We'll have kids' bikes. Obviously, now kids want helmets first, and then they want a bike. Yeah. Thankfully, and then we'll have mountain bikes for the trails. But the bike that we see is selling most will be these path bikes or gravel bikes, where people who ride these trails, and there's a separate set of features that people like to have on these bikes. And so we're going to be angling. At least we'll see what happens when we start to sell bicycles and see what comes in the door here. But we're pretty excited about the bicycle side of this thing, and to become a kind of a focal point of this area. If you stop in and just to say hello, have a cup of coffee, I need a helmet, I need a bike tube. We'll be a full service bike shop. We'll do trail tune-ups. We'll have enough people on staff, I believe, that someone could ride in here with a little problem. We could put it right on the rack and get it fixed. So we're going to try to be a lightning fast repair shop for people that are here to ride, rather than give me your bike and call me next week. Yeah. We're going to try to, and that's
more of a service center. Somebody has an issue on the trail, they can stop in like a pit stop.
Yeah, or they get here with their bike and they realize that the pedals aren't working correctly, or it's not shifting right. And
happens to me sometimes.
And we can put it right on. Sometimes you can bump a bike, and then in transport, and you can damage it enough to it doesn't work correctly. So being right here in the middle of town and right at the edge of the trail, we can be that fast repair for relatively little money, and put it on the rack and you're out riding.
Now the kayak school, the Northeast Kayak School, and I know that's something you've been passionate about and doing for quite some time. Now, if somebody comes in the first time they want to ride a kayak, you're not going to take them out in the rapids. But how does the kayak school work? What does that entail? So somebody comes in, okay, they park their bike for the day, they want to do kayaking. How does the kayaking school work?
So we normally get people, most people come in here, they don't want to take a lesson and they want to just go. Yeah. And then we'll say, our name is a Northeast PA Kayak School, which has a subtle, if not subtle connotation of being a place that you learn how to do it. So, and whitewater kayakers are generally, they need to know some things. So we don't rent kayaks, we don't give them out. So people come in, and we hope that after they take a lesson, we have a contract at Beltsville State Park. And that the Flatwater Day, the first day, is a day where we go there and you learn how to do everything about, behaving in a normal, as safely as possible manner, how to balance, how to get out of it, how to get in it, and how to paddle it. And then we spend a full day on the lake, and that prepares people very well for the river experience. So the second day, we take them on a very much guided and schooled during the day. We stop at places and we offer there's what we call flat water skills, and then there's moving water skills, and how you conduct yourself, how you paddle on a river. There's a way to do that that's more correct and more efficient and less injurious and more just fun. So the 2-day kayak school is definitely something that's popular, and we'll be a full service kayak dealer. We sell Jackson kayaks, and we sell everything a paddler would need if they come to the area. And this is it's the only river community in the country, I think, that didn't have a paddling store as part of it. And so many thousands of people come to this area to kayak privately, not with a kayak school. They paddle the Lehigh River and all sections of it. So we hope to be that place. People stop, come at the end of the day, have a nice cold drink, tell stories, watch videos or whatever. We hope to be that place that becomes a bit of a hangout in our cafe for that après river, whether they're here with us or not.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a brief intermission, and then we're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of the other opportunities in Carbon County, and maybe some more of that what it takes to be a whitewater kayaker. So we'll be back in a brief minute.
Did you know that the state capitol is not only the epicenter of the Commonwealth's governing bodies, but was once home to 390 preserved Civil War flags? During the war, it was customary for each state to furnish their regiments in battle with flags representing their contribution to the Union Army. After the war, Pennsylvania's military department was responsible for collecting the flags, and in 1872, they were reverently housed in the Capitol. Following the completion of construction on the new Capitol building in 1914, the Civil War flags were removed to the Capitol Rotunda. They were kept untouched in custom-made flag cases until 1982, when the Capitol Preservation Committee initiated its Save the Flags project. Throughout the years, dust and long-term vertical display of the flags had begun to devastate the brittle silk fabric and painted designs. The flags were removed by local textile conservators and were repaired and preserved in storage units that protect the relics from light, dust, and excessive handling. Now you know.
Did you know that on October 4th, 1911, the statues that greet visitors in front of the state capitol building in Harrisburg were dedicated to the citizens of the Commonwealth? In 1902, George Gray Bernard was commissioned to design the figures that embellished the front of the Capitol building. During the installation period, Bernard explained to the General Assembly what each sculpture symbolized. The Southern group, titled The Burden of Life, depicts the story of Adam and Eve followed by the fall of man in the forms of despair. The Northern group, titled Love and Labor, depicts male and female figures reaping fruits of labor and advances to a new Adam and Eve who gaze westward into the future. Recently, both sculptures underwent restoration to prevent further deterioration from their natural beauty. Now you know.
Welcome back to this edition of Legislative Report. We are here at the Lehighton Outdoor Center, and we are speaking with Alice Wanamaker, Vice President of the Carbon County Economic Development Corporation, and Jerry McElward, the President of Lehighton Outdoor Center. Now, Jerry, we were talking a little bit about the amount of people that right now come through your Jim Thorpe River Adventure. So you're estimating right now could be up to about 20,000 people, if not more, visitors coming through here on an annual basis?
Those are the people. We do that many people now, and we hope at least they all come back, and then and we always grow a percentage every year. But what we're very much looking forward to is the relatively unknown at this time number of people that come in that see the building, see the activity, hear about us, and want to come and visit it. So it creates a stop.
Creates a buzz and keep word of mouth.
Right, it creates a stop, and it gives us an opportunity to sell Lehighton a bit to the people that stop by, we can actually tell them about the town and tell them what to do. And since we want to be that travel agent, people ask us, what is there to do? And we want to be that kind of resource for people.
Now, Alice, one of the designations that Lehighton is looking for, and this Lehighton builds out to support the whole county, is the Trail Town designation. Now, you and Jerry serve on a committee that is looking to set up and establish this community as a trail town. What exactly does a trail town entail, and why is it a good thing?
Well, the fun thing is that here in Lehighton, we're making that up as we go. We've partnered with the DNL, and we're working with their folks to make Lehighton a trail town designation. And what that really is going to help do is bring more visitors from outside of Carbon County here to the area to experience all the things that we're talking about, to experience Jerry's Center here, to experience the restaurants, the different places where they can go and shop and have great experiences while they're here in Carbon County in the area. So it really does focus around the trail. We do have, the bike trails, the water trails that Jerry's mentioned. There's so much to do on that, but also what is there to do once you get here. Bed and breakfasts are really we're gonna see those popping up. Hopefully we'll see just different exciting opportunities for those adventure seekers once they're here.
Well, that's awesome. It is just a great opportunity, and I know that the Chamber has done so much good work lately, and just the partnerships between the Chamber, the DNL, Lehighton Outdoor Center, and all the other tourism-related industries here in Carbon County. Like I said earlier, tourism is the #1 industry, but it's not, as a whole, it's not one particular part. It's not biking, it's not kayaking, it's not skiing, it's not the skirmish. It's all combined, and that just brings so many people in. But there's so many activities to do here, and with that trail town designation, it seems like you'll really be able to expand upon that.
It really will, and we were talking to Jerry earlier about he's going to be a 4-season operation here, so things are going to be happening in the winter where you're going to have the opportunity to do some cross-country skiing out on the trails, maybe some snowshoeing, get things happening when it's not such great weather, but there are people who want to be out there when it's a little bit colder. So many activities. This will be the center of it here in Lehighton, and Carbon County is just going to explode because of it, so we're very much looking forward to that.
And it's really, people want to reconnect with nature, but they want to do it in a way that's going to be fun and exciting. They don't just want to go sit in a tent in the woods. They want to really experience it. And that's one of the opportunities that we have here is just the whitewater rafting, the old trail lines. But also, when you're on the trail, some of the old tunnels that were dug, hundreds of years ago by the railroad companies, and you can still ride into those tunnels and take a walk. You were just a few miles from the Lehigh Gorge State Park, and that really builds upon just the whole uniqueness about our area.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure Jerry can speak to those tunnels a little bit more, but there is so much to do. Here in Carbon County, when you hit the trail, if you're going north or south, you're having a great time. You're visiting, Chantilly's, as you mentioned earlier, maybe grabbing a hot dog along the way, and then coming back and really exploring the towns, which is really exciting. So all of those things are lending into making Lehighton Outdoor Center is helping to make Carbon County very much more exciting.
That's awesome. Well, we certainly have a very bright future here. Jerry, now we talked about the bikes, we talked about the kayaks. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about whitewater and what makes the Lehigh River so unique. And I was told because of the class of rapids that we have here and just the population in this part of the country, but what makes the class of rapids and the whitewater rafting on the Lehigh River here in Carbon County so fantastic?
Well, all rivers flow downhill, in case you haven't noticed. And that is, the word we use is gradient, how many feet per mile it drops. So in the Himalayas and the Rockies, it drops more steeply. Here, luckily, because of the proximity to big population centers, local people and people from 3-4 hours away can find everything to do here. There are family sections that are popular because it's an easier river. There are the class 2-3 sections through the Lehigh Gorge State Park, which give that crowd something to do. And there are 4 licensed outfitters in the eastern half of Pennsylvania. So we have a bit of a commodity here. When people come. They come to go rafting. And in the good old days, they came and they typically went rafting and went home. And we know that people who do rafting or do this kind of stuff are now looking to do 5 things in a day, not necessarily one. So the popularity of shorter trips has grown without too much guidance from the outfitters, because people want to do more. But the beauty here is we have a genuine whitewater river that is within 90 minutes from Center City, Philly, 2 hours from Manhattan, all of New Jersey. And so we draw on that, and it's a beautiful resource for the local people too. I mean, once in a while we get people here, I've lived here my whole life and I've never gone rafting, and we'll do anything we can to make that happen. And when they come off the river, they're like, my God, I didn't realize that was in my backyard.
And what's fascinating about it as well is because of the water releases from the Francis E. Walter Dam, we're able to provide some of those whitewater activities a little bit later into the season. Now, obviously, in the spring and in the fall, when you have the heavier rains, you're going to get a higher. But over the last few summers, we've had a lot of great days of whitewater rafting. But like you said, if you wanted to be adventurous and do the whitewater, but then you also operate, they still call them float trips, where it's with a different part of the river where it's a little bit, you don't have the whitewater, but it's a great family experience. You just want to get out there with a bucket and do some splashing, or have a water battle on the river, relax, have dinner, get back in a raft and carry on. So there's a lot of different opportunities. It's not a one size fit all, but it's really catering to the needs of what people want to do.
Yeah, the lower, so we call it easy water, our own version of that, starting in the lower section here. But we do it, I think all the outfitters would agree, they do more people on that stretch, because Jim Thorpe and Lehighton and Carbon County are an area visited by families a lot. So that you might think you want to take your family on something more aggressive, and the father and the mom may very well want to do something more aggressive, but the kids don't necessarily know the difference, and they have a nice easy day floating out of the boat, splashing. This is all and from the very beginning I started doing this, building a memory is way more important than selling them a raft trip or a bike trip or something like that. So people come here. You mentioned earlier, getting back to nature and the nature deficit disorder and all the things that we know. We take a walk outside for a while and we feel better. So the idea that we can genuinely help people rejuvenate their lives in a big way or a small way by building a memory, building an experience in this area, that's the key to the success of the entire district, I think, is how we sell that general experience, how well that is received and remembered by that family.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the keys to tourism here in Carbon County, what we offered. It is family oriented. I would challenge the families to go whitewater rafting. I did it with my family a few years ago, and we just loved it. I had done it years ago, hadn't done it for a while, but my daughters enjoyed it. And it just, and like you said, it's a memory that we talk about. At Christmas dinner, we're talking about the whitewater rafting trip we took, or the time we went hiking or biking on the trail. So that's what, that's one of the things we really have to offer here in Carbon County. It's a great area to come vacationing. But I really appreciate what you're doing here, what the Chamber's doing to bring those local jobs back. And you're seeing that those jobs and those economic activities, not through tourism promotion, but also through the guides. And know that when you go out on the whitewater rafting, you're going to have a guide that's with you that's going to keep you safe, and you're going to be enjoyable. And those are all local opportunities. But I thank you for your time today, Jerry and Alice. And I just want to commend you on the phenomenal job you're doing here in helping to grow tourism and grow opportunities for fun here in Carbon County. I'd like to thank our audience for tuning in for this episode of Legislative Report. If you have any state-related issues or concerns, there'll be some numbers that'll come across the bottom of the screen. Please feel free to reach out to contact my office, and we'll do whatever we can to help. Thank you.